Happy Wednesday, Unwoke Nation, and I'd like to welcome you to episode 27 of The Unwoke Show, where free speech is welcome, all subjects are on the table, and your boys Rich and Tim bring you the latest information every single week for your enjoyment, baby. I am your co-host Rich, along with my boy Tim. How you doing, Timmy?
I'm doing great, Rich. Man, looking forward to tonight's episode.
Oh yeah, man, we bring the smoke today.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we want to thank you guys for definitely sending us out some letters. I know we've gotten some really good stuff here. We're obviously growing the listening base out here, so we want to thank each and every one of you guys for definitely being a part of it. So, but definitely, guys, always remember, we want to hear from you. We're always looking for brand new topics that might be on your mind. We don't care if you're here in America, the good of US of A, or you might be across the world. We love to hear new topics. So definitely make sure to reach out to us on Unwoke the Show. And so, feedback at UnWokeShow.com. That's feedback UnWokeShow. It's been a long day. Feedback at UnWokeShow.com. As again, guys, we just love hearing from you. We are doing this for you because we realize out there's a world that's trying to shut people down from saying what's on their mind or whatever. So, and we are the place where you guys can feel right at home, get comfy, grab yourself some popcorn, and also hear what's going on in the world and be able to know that people are on your side. So, guys, thank you again for being a part of the show. So, tonight, here on episode 27, got a really good one for you. So I know Tim has been, I'll tell you guys right now, if you can see it, it's like he's got steam coming out of his ears right now. He's got steam coming out of his ears.
Yeah,
now, so guys, tonight topic where it's called the United Failed States of America. So, I mean, guys, we got a lot of crap that's just going on right now. I know Tim's got some excellent points he wants to put out of where, so definitely, buckle up for this one. It's going to be on. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, so if you've turned on Twitter in the last 45 minutes,
yeah,
you're just being bombed with videos of looting in Philadelphia, and we're going to get to that. But as Rich said, tonight's topic, the United Failed States of America, that seems pretty applicable based on what has been happening in society, the last 6 months to easily a year, if not longer.
Yes.
And so I thought I'd offer up, according to dictionary.com, what the definition of a failed state is. It's a state whose political or economic system has become so weak that the government is no longer in control.
Understatement.
And so, as I alluded to just a minute ago, the places we're going to be visiting tonight are going to be Philadelphia, Chi-Town, and last but not least, San Francisco.
Oh, boy.
So we're covering the East and Left Coast, and we're covering the Midwest. So we're going to go ahead and get started with Philadelphia. Again, if you've lived under a rock or just coming out from a rock and turned on Twitter literally in the last 30 to 40 minutes, you will notice a group of individuals that have been looting an Apple Store, Lululemon, and Foot Locker. Clearly committing theft, damaging property. According to the mayor, Jim Kenney, this was a sickening display of opportunistic criminal activity. He goes on to say, we will not stand for it. There were 100 culprits, many of them juveniles, were involved in ransacking stores over several hours on Tuesday night.
Several hours.
Based on the video, it looked to be predominantly black teens. I think they were supposedly, committing their own form of protest after a judge dismissed murder and other charges against a white Philadelphia police officer who fatally shot a black resident, Eddie Irizarry. Those ransackings were not affiliated with the peaceful protest, but clearly this ransacking that was taking place completely opportunistic, unwarranted.
Absolutely.
Pretty much, a flash mob style, well coordinated, The video on social media shows masked people in hoodies running down the street into several stores. As Rich just played, you heard one of the thugs screaming, "Got one!" I think that lady ended up getting arrested. She was arrested as well, too.
Sure was.
These looters were filled to their arms with merchandise and fleeing the scene in just a complete ransacking of, again, a Foot Locker, a Lululemon, and an Apple store. It's just unacceptable. Okay? When you actively have Black Lives Matter advocates, Rich, we saw a video that you were showing us earlier off camera about how she was saying, just go ahead and take what you want. It's reparations.
Yes.
Stores have got insurance. I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous.
It really is. And what Tim is referring to was something that actually happened. That film that he was talking about right now, that was done before, and I guess somebody decided just to put it up there on Twitter again because of all the looting that's currently going on in Philadelphia and the different places right now. And also, but basically, this is what it is. They want to sit there and they want to call this reparations and all and think that that's going to be okay and say, oh, just because they have insurance, that gives them the right to be able to say, hey, you know what, we can walk right into an Apple store and be able to do this and also, but not really think about the true future consequences of what it is and all, because these are the same people as we don't care if it's black, white, and different, or whoever's doing the looting, where wrong is wrong. And so when we're looking at this, so these are the same people that are going to sit there and say, well, why doesn't anybody invest in our neighborhoods? Well, because of fucking stuff like this.
Yeah, it's just punk kids,
right?
Just stealing shit. But this is just one example of many throughout the country where people are just walking into a CVS, for example. There was a two black adults just walked into a CVS, took a bunch of bags, and just started emptying the shelves
nonchalantly.
Yeah, just no big deal, just taking stuff. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. And then what's really leading me to the throwing Philadelphia in this in the failed state category was there was a video posted on Twitter where a black man in a hoodie, mask over his face, walks up to an individual on the street and just blasts him in the head and kills him right there.
Just point blank. I have to admit, on Woke Nation Aware, so watching that was very, very disturbing to see somebody just literally. I don't know if this person. It really doesn't matter whether you knew him or not. I mean, the kid was just. At least it seemed like some teenage kid or maybe whatever. He was young, and he was just there on his phone, and to have some guy just walk right up to him, basically point blank,
just blasted him in
and
the face.
just 3 shots straight to his face.
And just put him down right then and there, and then just takes off running.
That is a new type of evil that's like unbelievable. And
it's just inexcusable.
Yeah.
You have Philly residents who are like, I love the city of Philly, I love Philadelphia, and they're saying, get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here. It's practically a war zone. I mean, almost like a Baltimore style.
Yeah. Another town that's had its issues as well.
Yeah, and it's absolutely ridiculous, to see this and to see what is happening. But this is just one example of breakdown of society.
Yeah.
We have mentioned multiple times during previous episodes that people are going to take the law into their own hands, and at this point, I don't blame them.
I can't either. I really, really can't. And Tim, you're absolutely right. We've mentioned this on several episodes where we know eventually, you know, there's gonna come a tipping point. There will come a time where people are just gonna be downright tired of either, you know, this obviously this happening, but also being tired of, you know, having local governments that are not doing anything, or what they can do, they're hindering law enforcement from being able to do something, or they're putting out, you know, these policies that states, hey, if you walk into a Walgreens and they steal anything that's under $500, okay, just let them go. Or $1,000, where if it's some type of clothing store there, just let them go. And what you're doing is you're giving criminals free reign to do whatever they want. And if you're black, you definitely have that. Yeah. Now, this is me as a black person saying, it's like, yeah, I'm like, look, you know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to sugarcoat this shit. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's like, that's just all about, that's just us being, you know, raw and to the point where we need to understand. It's like a lot of these kids out here, like you just said about, they're in Philly. A lot of these kids who are not going to come out and say, but they know, I'm a black person, no one's going to arrest me. And if they do, I'll be out in an hour.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. And so the video I was referring to earlier about the black person shooting the other black person, this came from the Patriot Voice. So if you're on Twitter, look at Tom Paul Victor _John. He writes, listen, I grew up and spent most of my life living in or around the Philadelphia area. I am a Philly boy through and through. That said, God got me out of there, and I thank him every day for that. If you still live there and care even one iota about your safety, my strongest advice to you is, and he capitalizes everything at the end of the sentence, to leave as fast as you can.
Wow.
He says he means that in the most sincerest way, because it's not, and not is all capital, getting any better. Philly, the city I once loved, is now a total lawless war zone.
Wow. My God, that's just... wow.
And so that video has garnered 1.2 million views.
The video about the kid that was shot.
Yeah, in the street, in cold blood.
That's and if, you know, like you said, you're just talking about Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Imagine, like, you know, like you mentioned before, like with Baltimore, Chicago, you know, New York, Los Angeles. You got all these things that are happening, and nothing's going on. I can't blame that gentleman. As much as he loves the city of brotherly love, I can't blame him to sit there and say, I would say the same thing said, you know, for my hometown. It's like, you know, there's a lot of really bad things going on. There's a horrible mayor that's not doing anything. Well, it's like, yeah, I would tell people, get out. It's like, you're going to have to get out of work. So, and see, and the thing is that it's not only just going to be law-abiding citizens that are going to be leaving from these cities that are such as Philadelphia. It's also going to be businesses. We just got done seeing this. I mean, we're having Lululemon, we're having all these different, you know, companies. You know, I'm sorry, businesses are in the business of making a profit. And if it's going to be a situation where they're not in a situation where they're not making any profit, they're constantly getting robbed, they feel like their employees are in danger or something like that, it's like, which is horrible for whatever the economy is, the local economy is going to be. They're like, hey, you know what, guys, we can't do this. Every time where some criminal does something and somebody, you know, some police officer or some criminal tries to break into somebody's home, you know, or something like that, it's like that all of a sudden, you know, they end up, you know, being dealt with. All of a sudden people want to protest because, you know, because they're a minority or whatever the case may be. Or because it's a cop that did it or something, you know, they want to come up with that type of crap. Whatever, it seems like what it comes down to, it's almost like whatever excuse works just gives us a reason to go out there and loot and pillage or call it peaceful protests, and this is what we have to do for our struggle. Don't worry, there's insurance and all this other bull crap that's coming on to where. So, and of course, the media doesn't help either. They don't want to sit there and promote this. Doesn't help at all.
No, not at all.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and so I mean, that's just one example. Okay, we're gonna switch gears here to the Midwest. We're gonna hit Chicago. The first article, the Philadelphia article I was quoting, came directly from Fox News. The article that I am quoting from, again, is from Fox News, from September 26th. Brutal mugging caught on camera as masked robbers jump victim from behind. A Chicago man jumped from behind walking down Bucktown alleyway. What happened was, you have a 33-year-old white male walking down the street. It's about 3 p.m. on a Monday in a Bucktown neighborhood. Two black men run up behind this white man and proceed to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Absolutely proceed to just beat the shit out of this guy. They got him to the ground. They kicked him. The guy was screaming. They finally walked off with his bag. The individual was taken to the Illinois Masonic Medical Center, where he was listed in stable condition. No suspects have been identified. Of course, now there was a nearby community meeting, and it shows angry residents demanding improved safety. One man was even ejected for yelling.
Can you blame him for being angry? You can't blame him for being angry. I mean, like, this is happening all over that city. And what's going on is that you have, the local powers that be are just out there making excuses. That's all they're doing. Now, lucky enough where that gentleman happened to have a surveillance camera that witnessed the entire thing. I think the thing went on for almost 2 minutes.
Right.
Two guys jumping this guy, and he was just walking home wherever it was. Because I think Bucktown is, I think it's on the north side. And so, just mind his own self business or so, and then he gets jumped for it. That's like, Mayor Johnson, do you have anything to say?
It says here in the Chicago Police Department's 14th district. I'm assuming that's where Bucktown falls into.
Yeah.
And it says where the attack took place. Robberies are up 53% so far this year and have risen 130% since 2021. Car thefts have soared by 150% in the community this year.
Wow. Now, and also understand this, guys. So for those of you guys who have not heard this, especially out of Chicago, as Tim just got done saying about how there's been car thefts have actually increased, you realize also that the mayor of Chicago and the city of Chicago is actually trying to sue 2 major car companies because their cars are being stolen. This is real. I'm not making this up. They literally put together a lawsuit because crime has actually gone up in carjackings, that now they want to sue the companies that make the cars as if it's their fault.
And police are urging Chicagoans to travel in groups and not carry large sums of money.
That's ridiculous. So basically, you're under, how would you put it? You're basically under constant, I guess you could say, state of emergency, which technically it is,
right.
At this point. And also, but basically now it's like, in other words, if you are in the vicinity of the city of Chicago, you have to look over your shoulder at all times.
Or you just don't go out.
Yeah.
Or you get the fuck out of Chicago.
Right. Which I have told family members, because I have some family who are there. It's like, I've told family members, I was like, you need to understand the word. So I'm seeing a lot more people who are moving out of the city of Chicago, and if it's not that, it's just Cook County. Cook County is actually where the city of Chicago is. And they're moving out of where, so like that. I was like, don't be surprised if that number starts to increase tremendously. Because people are just, they're tired of it. it's like you're dealing with bad schools. Obviously, no one wants to become a policeman. If they do, they probably stick you on the south side, west side of Chicago. Now all of a sudden they got to take you out to Bucktown, and they have to do all these different things because people are law-abiding, going about their day, raising their families, whatever the case may be, and they don't feel safe. And so, can you blame them for wanting to go to town? Because I know in Illinois, it's like, you have maybe places like Wisconsin or Indiana or maybe Missouri where like that, especially for more rural instead.
Well, you ain't going to Minnesota, that's for sure.
Right? Yeah, you definitely don't want that, and also, that is a. It's like, yeah, they don't.
That's a shit show in itself.
Oh yeah, you got that right. It works. So I mean, being a policeman up there, man, that's a Yoko Ono right there. It's like,
oh yeah.
I mean, so
you'll get robbed just checking into a hotel.
What? Well, absolutely right, man. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But no, I can see a lot more people moving out of these major cities that have very, very little law enforcement and
failed government leadership.
Yeah, failed government leadership that's not doing their job of protecting and would rather basically follow suit with the woke agenda. To say, well, nah, we gotta make sure we're buddy, but yeah, we realize they're robbing stores, and yeah, it's probably hurting our local economy and all, but we just gotta stick with everybody and make sure everything's all well because we want to show that we support minorities. Yeah, right?
No, and
it's ridiculous.
And you know what? To these businesses that have moved out because they don't want to get robbed, good.
Absolutely.
Good. Does it impact low-income areas? Oh, damn.
Tremendously. I would like to go. If we go back to what it was in that one town that was in Missouri when the whole, Brown case came and all, and they started doing all the looting. I think that was what was that, like 2018, 2009, something like that? Yeah. And they were doing all that robbing out there. It's like, I would like to know how many of those major corporations that were in that town or in a maybe 20 to 30 mile facility are still there. Because I'm pretty sure where there's a lot of small businesses who live there in the local area that sat there and said, I'm not dealing with this in there, I'm out. So no, to all those corporations and be like that, I can't blame you moving out.
No, you have a right to get out because you're tired of being robbed.
Held at gunpoint.
It's impacting your business.
Yes. Insurance goes up.
Well, we've got a lot of crime in our... You know what? That's not our problem.
Right.
Your crime issue, that's a city problem. City needs to deal with it. And you've got these businesses moving out, and particularly grocery stores. And so what does the mayor of Chicago want to do?
Oh, gosh. Here we go. Yep.
Chicago-based grocery stores. If that doesn't sound like socialism, I don't know what does.
Oh, are they going to... anybody else hear the Soviet Union national anthem right now?
Exactly. And these low-income, crime-ridden neighborhoods is like, well, we don't have anything. We need anything. You know what, neighborhoods? Maybe it's time you guys take accountability and start handling your shit.
Yeah, take some responsibility. Maybe having the adults being able to say, you need to stop this because what you're doing, young men, young women, you're affecting the future of this neighborhood. So if we're not already making very much money, if we already have schools that are either being unattended, you have teachers that might not be doing as well, or let's just call it like it is, where you have kids who just aren't showing up, and all of a sudden they end up closing those schools down. I mean, there's a lot of issues that could be going on with us, but no one wants to sit there and actually address it.
I mean, between Philadelphia and Chicago and all these thugs and hood rats, you know what? Field trip's over.
Yeah.
Back to the hood, back to the ghetto, back to where you belong, because you were literally ruining it for everybody else.
Right. People who actually want to live peaceful lives, follow the law and stuff like that. And that's like what you said before. I have a really hard time, when I'm hearing about some store owner who most of the time it seems like they'll have some type of surveillance camera nowadays, obviously due to the topic at hand. They have those. But you get some kid who walks in there and want to sit there and rob them where like that, and that kid gets blasted, you get 2 in the chest.
Oh well.
You knew what you were doing.
I'll be honest, I hope that's what society starts doing, because the criminal justice system is busted beyond repair.
Absolutely.
The court systems are bogged down. Police are manned. And somebody I'm sure is sitting there saying, how can you say this? Hey, Tim, you've got all these police shootings and brutality and everything that's taking place. You know what? Yeah, there are some.
Right. We don't deny that.
Yeah,
we realize that there are good and bad people in every industry. It is what it is.
Exactly. And you're screaming defund the police. You're essentially allowing all of this looting and theft because of your woke stances on defund the police and we can't demonize these criminals or these kids that are committing these crimes. You know what? It's time to start locking people up and throw away the key.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. All right? Forget about these minor crimes and all you're concerned about is major stuff. No. Nobody fears law enforcement.
Right.
Nobody fears going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
It's, as I've said previously, it's like a rite of passage for some people.
Right. There's no precedent set where the show was. See, when you and I grew up, I mean, the last thing we want to see, if it wasn't a cop that was standing outside when we were going across the street during grade school or something like that, or so, I mean, yeah, you straightened up real quick. Nowadays, because of what's being put out there, so about people not being afraid of police, they're like, hey, you know what? We got free reign. We can do whatever the heck we want to do. And so there you go. So like I said, I agree exactly with Tim, because like I said, there might be some people out there that are hearing us right now and going like this, oh, well, I can't believe the Unwoke Show said that, and also it's like, you know what? Because we are law-abiding citizens. And we ourselves are sick and tired. We have family members that we love. We want to make sure that they're they're going to school, they're doing all the different things, going about their day and they don't have to worry about being robbed by some idiot that's doing absolutely nothing with his life. No, Timmy calls him a piece of shit and everything. So I'll be a little bit nice and just call you a fucking lowlife. All right, so you're a lowlife. And if you're going out there and you're trying to cause problems like that, and once again, like I said, if you get enough people out there, and that includes people here on Unwoke Nation, where you get enough people, because we probably have business owners out there, and if it comes down to where you have to defend yourself, your family, your business, you're like I said, you're a two-way carrier. You're a concealed carrier like that. You have every right to sit there and defend yourself. Do what you have to do.
Yep.
That's not insightful. That's not anything like that. You do what you have to do.
Because all you dumbass punks that are rioting this stuff, your attitude will change as soon as you get blasted. And let's say it's not a fatal shot, but then it's be like, was stealing from Gucci, was that really worth it? No.
Mm-hmm.
Or you get blasted and you end up in a coffin. Well, society's better off.
Is what it is.
Yeah. So now we're going to travel out to the left coast. Our favorite place, Rich.
Oh, yes.
San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I think
they're going to start putting toilet paper on the sidewalks?
Honestly, I think San Francisco is the epitome of what a failed state or city is.
San Francisco's a shithole. Yes. Literally.
Flat out shithole. So this is coming directly from Newsweek. Okay. San Francisco is fighting rampant homelessness, a drug crisis, surging crime, business closure, and a shrinking population because people are getting the fuck out because it's too expensive.
You know what I just learned yesterday? It just dawned on me now on World Nation Aware. So I was listening to a statistic yesterday. A lady was talking exactly about California. Get this, Tim. For you to be able to get a house, and I know slightly off subject, but for you to be able to get a house, you have to put down at least 16% now.
Fuck off.
Yeah, not making this up.
No.
It's like, yeah, you got to put down 16% down payment on this house. And get this, money-wise, when it comes to your earnings, for you to be able to afford what's considered to be the typical median house like that, it's like, which right now, I think they say is $802,000.
Yeah, no.
That's the median house out there.
No.
And then here's the catcher. You need to be making almost $250,000 to be able to get. Yeah, not making this up, man.
Not
yep,
happening.
You can hear those U-Haul trucks right now. Can't you?
Yep,
I'm out.
I'm out. Done. Burn the place down for all I care.
Way to go, Newsom.
Exactly. And so, since 2020, 250,000 people have fled the Bay Area.
Wow. More like the Bear Area now.
Yeah. According to the U.S. Census, San Francisco's population dropped by 7.2% between 2020 and 2021, and by 0.3% between 2021 and 2022. A lot of the exodus was sparked by the COVID pandemic and the change in working habits. Not a shock there.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, cost.
Mm-hmm.
But again, all the theft that has taken place, and people are doing it in broad daylight. I saw a video of somebody's car getting stolen from a Home Depot in broad daylight.
Mm-hmm.
And there were two people trying to stop from the vehicle being stolen.
Well, what about what about the Walgreens were? So is now, if I understand correctly, I think there were at least 11 Walgreens I think that might have closed in just the Bay Area by itself. And I remember seeing the one video that showed these two ladies. Of course, they're wearing sunglasses and stuff like that. But they're in there taking stuff off the shelves. I mean, as nonchalantly as if you think they're shopping. And I mean, they weren't running,
and they just know it's not gonna. They're not gonna get.
Exactly. They weren't running. They were literally practically going from aisle to aisle, got the stuff they wanted in their little plastic bags, and walked out. They weren't running. They were walking.
So, back in October of 2022, San Francisco had a record 27.1 million square feet of office space available.
There's a lot.
Yeah. According to Lee Ohanian, a professor of economics and director of the Ettinger Family Program in Macroeconomic Research at the University of California, so UCLA, wrote that this exodus caused a $7 billion
with a B
net income loss within the city.
And yet we have local and state politicians sit there saying, oh no, we actually have businesses and people coming actually into California. Really?
Where are those reparations money going to come from?
Yeah, because wasn't there supposed to be something like they want to do, what is it, like $2 million per person? Oh, by the way, guys, for those of you who might be living outside the country and you hear about this reparations that's trying to be going in the state of California trying to come up with money, I got a little secret for you. California was not a slavery state. So my question is...
Oh, you're black, Rich. Come on now.
Oh, so that's the reason why. So it's not... but you still want to be able to use taxpayers' money that had nothing to do with a Southern institution and give the money out? That's supposed to be... So that's the justification?
Yeah.
Wow, I mean,
So according to...
What was I thinking?
The San Francisco Police Crime Dashboard, and this is something you can look up. Larceny, theft. Okay. And we are talking from January 1, 2023 to September 24th, 2023. Larceny, theft went from 24,000 incidents to 25,728.
Wow.
The number of homicide cases, 39. The number of rape cases, 197.
Oh. My goodness.
Robbery, Robbery the previous year was 1,755 cases compared to 2,039 cases. The number of assaults was down from the previous year. Previous year was averaging 1,900 assault cases versus 1,700, so assaults were tracking down.
Mm-hmm.
Human trafficking stayed stagnant. Burglary was down a little bit. Vehicle motor theft, previous year was 4,500. It increased to 5,038.
Wow. I'm sorry, I just have to ask the question. It's like, what makes people stay there? I mean, I've run into people who are from California who have said that they've moved to states going back out east and in the Midwest and out in the East Coast and all, and a lot of them saying like, states that actually got their head on straight have literally said, it's like, I mean, we're giving ourselves a discount coming from California. We're getting more house. We're paying less in taxes, if any. I'm sorry, I have to ask people in California, what's making you stay there? The local government's not helping you. The state government's not helping. You got crime going all over the place. You think if you have the ways and the means to be able to get out of where, I don't care if you live in Huntington out there, Orange County, or any of those places, up north, and also, I mean, what makes you stay there? I don't get it.
I don't either.
With those type of numbers, that's staggering.
And homeless people continue to grow. I mean, you go around the Moscone Center there, which is the big, convention center there in San Francisco, and there have been major conferences, and I've had friends attend these conferences, and they're having to step over feces and stuff in the street to get to.
Oh, that's disgusting. Wow. Facts, but
yeah,
damn.
And Gavin Newsom wants to debate DeSantis? Really?
Oh gosh, I've been hearing about this for a couple weeks now. I'm assuming where the DeSantis doesn't have a problem with this, but it's still a thing. It's just like, you're really going to try to debate somebody when you literally have people crapping on your streets. You have crime where it's gone up, over 1,000, rapes being 120, something like that, and you want to sit there and say, oh, I'm doing a better job?
And you've lost $7 billion.
Right. Last time I checked, and let's just take just talking about the state as a whole, there are more people moving to Florida. They're not having, everybody's got their crime and also, but not numbers like this. They're controlling the immigration issue. They're doing all these different things where people are doing. In fact, let's talk about police. You're talking about law enforcement. Last time I checked, DeSantis had said something like, if you have any police experience, regardless of where you are in the nation, they're willing to actually give you a $5,000 payment to come down or to become a policeman. They're willing to do that. Now, I don't care if it's Florida or India, wherever state. It's like, you get any government that sits there and says like, hey, we're going to do our best to make sure that our law-abiding citizens, and all citizens, of course, are going to be safe and protected. Hats off to you. That's not just a DeSantis thing, or so. I'm not trying to endorse anybody or anything like that. I'm just saying, if you're a person who, a governor or whatever like that, and you're trying to do your best to protect your constituents, hats off to you, man. And you want to bring people in, that are not from the area, to make sure that they're safe. And now you got some idiot out there, some slick-haired idiot, that sits there and thinks, that he thinks, oh no, there's more businesses that are coming to California. No, they're not.
No.
How do you lose $7 billion in revenue and say you would think it would be eaten? Matter of fact, you'd think it wouldn't be touched at all, but that's not the case. There are businesses leaving because of the laws that you're doing up there in Sacramento. So it's like, you need to figure something out. But don't worry, I will definitely get me some popcorn and a glass of wine and watch that shit show.
It's like a modern day Escape from LA. Remember?
Yep. What was the Kurt Russell movie?
Kurt Russell movie?
what was it, like 4 of those?
Snake Plissken.
Yeah, Snake. Yes. Riot.
Yeah, call me Snake. Mm-hmm. No, but I mean, it's just the epitome of where our society is going, and the fact that we cannot rely on the current institutions, and I say this, law enforcement institutions, to protect us.
Right.
And it is up to the people to get trained and protect themselves.
Now, one thing I will say, because as Tim's talking about when it comes to the police and all, so we just got done seeing prior to the show, there was one video that it was showing maybe 6 or 7 policemen during a part of this looting where that they were actually doing their job.
Yeah.
We want to give we definitely want to give a good shout out, to those policemen out there, Philadelphia policemen out there who are doing their job out there, trying to make sure that the streets are safe. And also, hats off to the Unwoke Show, supports you in every way possible. And that's every policeman across this country. If you're doing your job, definitely that. But we do realize where you guys are under struggle. You're trying your best to protect. If you're not trying to protect our city, you're trying to protect border, you're trying to do whatever it might be to make sure that that we are safe. We definitely appreciate you.
We support you, but we also recognize it's time for society to start protecting itself.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. And that, everybody out there on Woke Nation, we just think, unfortunately, it has come to that point. It has come to the point and everything where it's not a safe place. Our country is which is why it's the United States of America. America is now in a situation where truly people have to learn to start defending themselves.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like I said, I'm sorry. If I had somebody's coming into my house, white kids, stuff like that, and he's coming to my house, and he, like I said, breaking in and stuff like that, and he's in my house, castle law kicks in where I don't want to hear about, but he was black, he was this, like that. So
Doesn't matter.
You step in my house,
you're leaving in a body bag. That's all there is.
That's all it is.
And we cannot stress this enough that the Wild Wild West will come back around, where we're kind of already seeing it already, where people are handling disputes with a gun.
Yep.
Which is something you don't do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But on the other hand, you have to protect yourself.
Yeah.
And society needs to start protecting itself. People need to go out there, get some type of self-defense training of some kind. We cannot rely on the criminal justice system. It's just too overtaxed. Too much is being asked for them. Crime continues to increase. Police are underfunded, understaffed. Mm-hmm. It's on society to start defending itself.
And we do. And we definitely, want to condone anybody to go out there. It's we ain't asking people to go out there and be, as my mom would say, white earp or anything like that.
Right.
Get yourself trained. So there's different organizations out there, that can help you to get the proper training, about gun safety, and also, where to put your gun in the house, and how to, carry all those different things. Definitely, follow your laws. We definitely want people to be able to follow their laws. I think there's the United States Concealed and Carry Association. There's several other places out there that can direct you in the right way to make sure that you know how to be able to defend yourself. And I'll even go one step further. I think I heard a couple weeks ago about a guy. I think some guy tried to guy broke into the house, and I guess he was assaulting this 12-year-old, 14-year-old boy's mom or something like that. He knew what a shotgun was, did what he had to do.
Good for him.
Yeah, did what he had to do. So if you have somebody and you have one of the kids that might be mature enough, let's just call it like it is, mature enough where to know that a gun is a tool, it's not a toy.
Right.
And to know that is to be used to protect their family. I don't see there being any problem with it. So if that child is mature and can be responsible. But I agree. I agree. I think it's coming down that families need to be able to protect themselves, whether you're in the car going on a trip or you're at home or at work and like that. These things need to be done because these people are not going to stop. And when you're having groups, these the socialism and liberation group. I think that's the one they said that was actually backing this whole thing in Philadelphia.
Right.
You know, socialism liberation group and Black Lives Matter and what all these other groups like that. You know what? You got to let them know. You know, enough's enough. You guys heard me the last time I said, you know, it's time to be the corner puppy. Time for you to start coming out, fighting and kicking. Enough's enough.
I completely agree with you. And on that note, Rich, it was great talking to you. Another great topic. Again, guys, you can reach us at feedback@unwoketheshow.com. Again, that is feedback@unwoketheshow.com. Check us out on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify. We are on Amazon. We are on Google Podcasts. Check us out. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, listen, tune in. And as always, stay unwoke, and we will talk to you next week.
See you next week, guys.